Shall we get started? We are going to do something a little different and start standing. So we're going to start with some sun salutations and then go down to the mat. Every once in a while I like to start in a standing position because it's just a bit different. So we still will start focusing on our breathing, but the really important thing when you're standing, if you're going to close your eyes, is to make sure you're really stable. So I don't recommend having your feet right together, which is sort of classic yoga pose. I almost always have you guys anyway standing hips distance apart. So not super wide, just right under your hips. And I'm just going to turn profile to you for a moment. So if you want, close your eyes. If you start to feel unstable, open them. But if you can, close your eyes. And I want you to just start with the base of your body. So your feet are rooted into the earth. So I actually like to peel my toes back up off the mat and stretch them towards my face. And then place them back down on the mat and see if you can feel all of your toes, however many you might have, making contact with the mat. And notice the balls of your feet and the heels of your feet. And notice if the arches are slightly lifted. You want a little soft bend in your knees so that you're not locking them out. And then a little bit of contraction in your quadriceps and your gluteal muscles just to keep you supported. If you don't have a little contraction, you'll tend to kind of slouch. So just a little bit, just so you're aware. It's not clenching or squeezing, just a teeny bit of muscle contraction. And then notice your pelvic position. So remember, we don't want to thrust our pelvis forward, but equally, we don't want to tilt it down and stick our bottom out because that puts a curve in our low back. So see if you can find that neutral position of your pelvis. Belly button's drawing in towards the spine. Imagine that girdle around your midline tightening, so you're contracting those abdominal muscles about 50%, keeping the spine long and tall. Rolling the shoulders back, turning your palms forward, so you're finding Tadasana, mountain posture, opening the chest and shoulders a little bit. And noticing your head, if you're sticking your chin forward or tilting your chin up or down, see if you can bring it to neutral so it's slightly pulled back in parallel to the floor. Relax your shoulders down away from your ears. Relax the muscles of your face. And then from here, if it's too much to have your palms turned out into Tadasana, just let your arms relax so that you can feel relaxed as you're standing here. And focus on your breath, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Notice how it feels to just stand and breathe as opposed to lying down or sitting down. Still breathing deeply all the way down to the abdomen, letting the diaphragm press all the way down, opening up the lungs, the ribs, the chest. Exhale, using that muscle to squeeze all the air out, completely purging your lungs. So when you inhale again, it's a deep, full breath. Notice if you're holding tension in the muscles of your neck, your face, your jaw, your head, and see if you can relax and just let go. If your eyes are closed, maybe focusing on the backs of your eyelids, maybe towards your third eye, or if your eyes are open, just out on the floor, downwards in front of you. We're starting in a more energized position, but we'll work our way to a relaxing position at the end. Just take a scan over your body now. And as always, if you want to set an intention for your practice, you can do that. As I mentioned, we'll warm up with sun salutations. We'll just do pretty standard sun salutations. About 3 rounds. So finding your breath now, see if you can continue that breath as you move through your sun salutations, matching your breath to your movement. Not so much worrying about keeping pace with me. We'll all end up in the same place. And then let's rub our palms together in front of you. Just generate some heat. Especially those of you in cold climates right now. And then cup your hands over your eyes, letting that heat warm the backs of your eyes or your eyelids. And then gently flutter your eyes open. And then bring your arms down by your side. Okay. Let's take a deep inhale, extend the arms up overhead, pull the shoulder blades down your back so your arms are long, but you're not hunching. No shoulders by ears. Extend them down, opening that up a little bit. Deep inhale and exhale. Interlace the fingers and stretch those arms up overhead, and go ahead and bend to one side. Step your feet all the way together as you do that. So as you bend to one side, you feel your weight shift to the opposite foot. So if you're bending right, your weight is in your left foot and you're pressing out through your left hip. Inhale through center. Exhale to the other side. Switching the weight to that foot, pressing that opposite hip out. Inhale back to center, release your arms down. Let's roll the shoulders forwards a few times, loosen up that shoulder joint. And roll the shoulders backwards a few times. Inhale again, extending the arms overhead, this time rising up onto the balls of your feet, sort of tippy toes. Just stretching through your feet for a moment. Notice how that feels. If you're at the top of your mat, see if you can walk backwards on the balls of your feet to the back of your mat. If you're at the back, you could walk to the front. And then we're going to go back to where we started. If you are not at the top of your mat, make your way to the top of your mat. One of my yoga teacher friends calls this twinkle toes. I don't think it's an actual asana. And let's lower the heels and bring the hands down to heart center. And there's another check of your alignment before we begin, making sure you're finding that same good alignment. And next time you inhale, extend those arms upwards. As you exhale, hinge forward, long flat back as you reach to fall down. As you inhale, sliding halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, release hands to the mat, stepping the right foot back, followed by the left. I sometimes like to do modified ones to begin, so I'm going to drop my knees down to the mat. And I'm going to lower all the way down to the mat and then press up into cobra on the inhale just to warm up that back. Curling the toes under, push up and back to your downward facing dog and then jog through, bending one knee, bending the other knee, stretching the opposite heel to the mat, loosening up the hamstrings. And then press both heels into the mat, rolling the shoulders down and away from the ears. On the next inhale, option to swing the right leg up and then stepping it forward to your lunge, followed by the left leg. Releasing the head, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, extending all the way up through center. Exhale, forward fold, right into the next one. Inhale, flat back, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, left foot steps back, followed by right. Option to drop to the knees here, lowering all the way down to the mat on the exhale. Inhale, elbows hug the sides of your cobra, curling the toes under, pressing back, jogging through in your downward facing dog again. Pressing one heel to the mat, pressing the other heel to the mat, as slowly or as quickly as you would like. And then pressing both heels into the mat, pressing the palms into the mat, rolling those shoulders away from the ears. Inhale and exhale. Next time you inhale, that left leg can swing up, step forward, followed by the right. Forward fold, inhale, halfway up, exhale, release. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, hands to heart center, Samastiti. Second round, inhale, extend up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. This time right foot steps back, an option to stay up high as the left foot steps back to your plank. And then your option if you go all the way to the mat and rise up to cobra, or if you chaturanga and rise up to your up dog. And then again, working your way back to down dog, pressing the heels into the mat. Let's do one down dog twist here. Separating the feet, reaching your left hand back towards your right calf or ankle, turning and looking past your right armpit. Taking a couple of breaths there and a little bit of a twist. And place that hand back down, step the feet back and towards the center, extend the right leg up, bending that right knee, dropping the right foot to the opposite side, stacking hips. Inhale and exhale. Bringing that leg back to center, swinging it all the way forward into that long lunge, followed by the left, forward fold. Inhale, flat back lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, extending all the way up. And exhale, hinging forward. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, release, stepping the left foot back for your long lunge, followed by right, plank position. Chaturanga or all the way to the mat. Inhale up to cobra or up dog. Exhale, pressing back. Down dog, separating your feet, mat's distance, releasing the right hand. Coming back to your down dog twist on this side, so you're reaching to left calf, left ankle, turning, looking past the left armpit. Pausing here, taking a few breaths into that twist. Placing that right hand back down, stepping the feet back together. Left leg comes up, bend the left knee, drop it towards your left foot, towards your right side. Stacking left hip on top of right. Deep inhale and exhale, feeling the hip flexor open up. And then swing that left foot all the way forward, high lunge on this side, followed by the right, forward fold. Inhale up, exhale, release. Inhale, extending all the way up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. This time we're going to come to chair. So inhale, bending the knees, pushing the hips back, arms extend. You can also bring hands to heart center. Sitting nice and low, trying to keep knees as much over ankles rather than pushing forward over toes. So you do that by shifting the hips back, pulling the belly button in, weight in your heels. And forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Step the right foot back, drop that knee down, and just come up into your crescent lunge on your inhale. Exhale, hands reach back to the mat, left foot steps back, lowering down chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, pressing back, downward facing dog. Coming to high lunge, extend the right leg up, swing it forward, plant it down, rising up to your high lunge, hands at heart center or arms extended up. Pressing back through your left heel, giving yourself a stretch in the hamstring. Option to bring the gaze up towards the ceiling. Next time you exhale, hands find the mat. Vinyasa, working your way through chaturanga to your up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Next, inhale, left side, left leg swings up, swings forward, high lunge. Rising up, hands at heart center or arms extending, pushing through that heel, holding for a couple of breaths. Next, exhale, hands find the mat, stepping the left foot back, vinyasa. And pausing in your down dog, heels towards the mat, rolling the shoulders away from your ears. Trying to avoid locking the elbows and trying to avoid popping into the shoulders. A little bit of bend in the elbows will just help protect you, just so they don't lock. It's not about bending your elbows, it's just trying to not lock them. Inhale, gazes forward, right leg steps forward, followed by left, bending the knees. And then sliding up, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, release, rising up into chair, Utkatasana. Pushing those hips back. Can you sit a little bit lower? Again, if it bothers the back or shoulders, bring the hands to heart center. And forward fold. Inhale, flat back lift. Exhale, release, step the left foot back, dropping that knee down, rising up into your crescent lunge on the inhale. Exhale, hands find the mat, right foot steps back, working your way through your vinyasa to come back and meet in downward facing dog. This time we'll come up in warrior one, so the right leg swings up and forward, plants down, pivoting the back foot to rise up. Same option, hands at heart center or arms extended, trying to pull the left hip forward. So you should feel quite a stretch in that hip flexor. As you try to bring it forward, inhaling and exhaling. Next time you exhale, forward fold, working your way through your vinyasa. Inhale and exhale. Next inhale, left leg swings up, swings forward, plants, rising up, Virabhadrasana 1 on this side. Next exhale, hands find the mat, left foot steps back, chaturanga. And pausing for a moment in that downward facing dog, heels towards the mat, seeing if you can meet the mat. If your heels lift, that's fine. Some people don't have the flexibility to press the heels into the mat. It's just you don't want to be lifting onto the balls of your feet. The energy should be pressing down. Make sure you can nod your head yes, neck is loose, shake your head no. Let's do one lion's breath here. Take an inhale, stick out your tongue and let it go. Release. And inhale, step the left foot all the way forward, followed by the right, forward fold. Inhale, flat back lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, rising up into chair. Inhale and exhale. See if you can come onto the balls of your feet here in Utkatasana. Can you sit a little bit lower? Can you press all the way to standing still on the balls of your feet? Can you lower back into chair, bringing the hands to heart center as you slowly, oops, I had to touch a heel down, come down. Sit nice and low as you can, then lower the heels back to the mat. Make sure you shift your hips back. And we'll come to a twist. Bring your feet all the way close together. It's a bit easier on the twist. Notice your knees, they're side by side, they're even, nothing shifted forward or back. See if you can keep them that way. I'm going to turn towards you, so I'm bringing my left elbow to my left thigh. Keep twisting, and then if you can bend the knees and drop lower, that elbow can slide down, and you can bind. Now notice what your knees have done. Quite often they will have shifted. See if you can shift your hips so you can keep those knees side by side. Looking up past that top shoulder. Trying to keep the hands at heart center. They do tend to migrate way up to the armpit. Can you press them back down? Come back to center, coming to half chair. So we're going to extend the arms, we're going to sit down, we're going to lower our chest towards our thighs. And then see if you can stay nicely deeply bent as you lift your torso back up and turn to the other side. So again, I start with the elbow on the thigh, and then see if I can bend my knees more. Let that arm slide down as you turn your gaze up, keeping hands at heart center, keeping the knees parallel. And coming back to center. Inhale into your regular chair, arms extend, sitting back. Exhale, forward fold, release the head. Separate those feet again, just about hips distance apart. Shake your head no. Nod your head yes. Grab hold of your big toes with your peace fingers, bending your knees as much as you need to do this. And then pull the crown of your head downwards, trying to bring the crown of your head towards the floor. Nice inhale and exhale. Bend the knees, drop the hips, round the spine, release the arms, just let the arms go. Bit of a bend in your knees here so your back is really rounded over, head is completely released. And let's roll up slowly. So head and shoulders stay down. Knees start to straighten as you're maybe halfway up. And then you're restacking one vertebra on top of the next till you come all the way up. Good. I'm going to do one more lateral bend from here. So letting your arms come down by your side. Extend one arm up. Grow nice and tall like someone's lifting you up without disjointing your shoulder, and then bend over into your lateral bend, letting the opposite arm just slide down. Option to turn and look towards the ceiling. And back to center. Extend the other arm up. Lift and grow tall, and exhale to bend. And releasing that. Step your feet wide, so just pivot around, come to the wide end of your mat. Toes pointing forward, parallel position. Feet pretty wide here, much wider than hip distance. Hands on hips and hinge forward, long spine. Pausing halfway, so you're flat back. Trying to bring your weight still evenly in all four corners of your feet. I tend to roll in on my toes here. Notice what you're doing. Can you keep the weight even? Can you shift your body so all four corners of your feet are working? Pushing the hips back a bit still. Feeling a stretch in your hamstring. And then release into this, letting the head hang down, letting the body round over. Bending knees to roll back up, restacking one vertebra on top of the next. Coming into goddess, so turning the toes out. I'm going to extend my arms. You can do goddess cactus position, or you can have hands at heart center. And we're going to sit down into our hips, push back. So as soon as I go down, almost inevitably, I tend to track forward. A lot of people do that. Bring those hips back, sit down, and then see if you can come up so that these knees are as close to being over ankles as possible. The more forward they go, the worse it is on your knees, and you don't get much work in your gluteals. We want to strengthen the glute muscles, protect the knees. Sit up nice and tall. Notice if you're hinging forward. Here, you want to be able to wiggle your toes, so your weight is more in your heels. So notice if you can do that. And then I want you to shift your body just to one side, so it's like a rib movement. And back to center. Move your ribs the other way. Like you're just trying to reach something, but the bottom half of your body is glued. Reach back to the first side, back to center. Reach the other side, back to center. One more time. Any of you who did dance, this is similar to an isolation movement. It's a little more exaggerated than a true rib isolation. Back to center. Bring the hands to heart center, prayer position. Can you drop a little lower? Coming up on the ball of one foot, sink a little bit lower, and let's do really gentle lifts and lowers. It's like a pulse, but really slow. 3, 2, and 1. Lower that heel down, opposite heel comes up, sink a little lower, and little pulse. 2, and 1. Bring that heel down. Option here, I have to bring my feet a tiny bit closer together, to come up on both feet. Can you sink a little lower? Can you keep the chest lifted? Squeezing up, keeping your balls of your feet on the mat, heels lifted. Don't fall over. Extend the arms up. And lower the heels, pivot the feet forward and forward fold. Release all the way down, grabbing the big toes with your peace fingers. Pulling the crown of your head down. Straight legs without locking the knees, letting the head go. Lion's breath, inhale. Open your tongue, stick it out, and let it go. And just release your arms, release your head, release everything, let it hang. A little sway or bounce if you want. And then bring the hands to the hip and press up through flat back all the way to standing. Wiggle the feet in, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. Finding yourself rooted here, both feet in the mat. Nice and stable. We're gonna come to tree, nothing crazy. Basic balancing pose. So I'm gonna shift my weight into my right foot, bring my left foot kickstanding it, ankle, calf, not the knee, inner thigh. Option to bring the foot all the way across the thigh, if you would like. See if it will stay, if you have to hold it. Sometimes mine stays, sometimes not so much. Picking hand position, so if you got a wall or chair, you can hold on to it. You could bring hands to heart center. You could extend. If your foot is pressing against the inside of your thigh, make sure your thigh is pushing back against your foot. If you don't, what happens is your foot pushes against your thigh and your hip will tend to pop out. So push against that, lengthen up, strengthen that leg, and it'll help you stay more balanced. And keep you in alignment. Focus on a point in front of you. Those of you who are like me, with the foot across the thigh, if you want, you can do a little bit of a hip opener here. Bring the hands to heart center. It already is a hip opener, but you can make it deeper if you want to sit down into that. You could take this to flying pigeon. I'm not going to go down to flying pigeon, but this is a standing pigeon posture. Take a couple of breaths. And stand that back up and place that foot down. And shake it out. Maybe we'll do flying pigeon another night. I don't know if I have it in me right now. And root yourself in the mat. Switching sides. Bring that foot to the ankle. to the calf, to the inner thigh, pressing the thigh against it so the hip doesn't pop out. Or if you want, bringing it across into your variation of your pigeon. Finding that point to focus on in front of you. Inhaling and exhaling. Picking arm position. You can, of course, grow your branches. I just sort of forgot that I didn't have my arms up. And again, if you're in that pigeon-like posture, you can sit into it, giving yourself a hip opening stretch. Plus, it's really working your standing leg and challenging your balance, especially with me on my harder to balance upon foot. Hold it for another breath. Flying pigeon is an option, but we're not going to stay here very long. And then rise up and place that foot down and shake it out. Inhale, deep breath in. And exhale, bring the hands to the heart center. If you're not at the top of your mat, go ahead and bring yourself to the top of your mat. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, arms extend up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back lift. Exhale, release, bend the knees, place the hands on the mat, stepping back, or option to hop back into plank if you'd like. And then we're going to hold plank. Oh, how clever. I have my phone near me with the clock going, so we can hold it for a set amount of time. Belly button squeezing in towards the spine, gluteal muscles contracting. Make sure your neck is in neutral, so you don't want to be looking out in front of you here. You want to be looking down at the mat, but also not back at your toes. So just right in between your thumbs. Of course, if your hips are dropping, it's better to drop to your knees and work in a modified position. Inhaling and exhaling. All right, it was 30 seconds. We're going to take this to a side plank. Either hand coming to the middle of the mat, rotating over to that foot, option to drop to that knee. And then you have the option of stacking your feet, one on top, one in front of the other. That's not stacking them, that's one in front of the other, or stacking them more challenging. And if you want, extending that opposite arm up. Coming back to your regular plank. Trying not to drop the hips. Your breath will really help you here. Inhaling and exhaling. If you find it works better exhaling through your mouth, you can do that. Blowing out through the mouth is going to really contract the abdominal muscles. If it's bothering your wrists, you can always come and do this on forearms. RBG style. Coming over to the other side plank, moving that hand to the middle, rotating over, picking to drop to your knee. Have feet stacked or have feet one in front of the other. Option to look up towards the ceiling. Keep pushing the top hip up. This, of course, too, you can come down onto your forearms. A few more seconds here. Coming back down, now lowering onto forearms, but staying in your plank. Belly in, glutes contracting. Still looking in between your arms. Inhale, exhale. A few more seconds. From here, your forearm plank will come in to dolphin, so pushing the hips up, walking the feet towards the forearms, letting the head go. Driving the heels towards the mat, even though they won't make it onto the mat. Dropping down to knees. You could go straight to headstand from there, but it's a bit of a challenge for most of us, and I can't do it while I talk to you. So we're going to do a headstand here. Alternatives, of course, to headstand are any inversion, or you can skip it altogether. You can come to a wall, you can do legs up the wall. I'm going to do this on forearms, so you can do tripod if you prefer. So you're going to bring the crown of your head to the floor, making sure the top of your head, not the forehead, not the back of the head, are on the mat.
Forearms are on the mat. Lifting up like you're coming to that dolphin kind of position, and then walking the feet in. You could come up with straight legs, or I usually tuck into a ball and begin to lift the hips, lift the knees, and then lift the legs. You should be pressing onto the forearms to help stabilize. If you're not on the crown of your head, I would recommend you come down and try again. You can, of course, modify this and do it against a wall. Squeezing your glutes, squeezing your thighs like you're squeezing a tennis ball. Belly button in. And breathe. It also helps here to focus on a point that's at whatever level your eyes are at. If you're practicing against the wall, see if you can invite one foot and the other off the wall. If you come down, just come to child's pose. And then when you're ready, slowly lowering down with control. And everybody tuck into child's pose. Arms can extend out, or mine want to break right now. I'm going to bring them down by my side. And take a breath in and out. And go ahead and roll yourself all the way up. Staying here on your knees for a moment, just making sure we haven't created tension in our neck. Let your head drop down to one side really gently. Up through center, over to the other side. Up through center, chin towards chest. And tilt up towards the ceiling. Chin towards chest. Tilt up towards the ceiling. And now drop chin towards chest and just roll your head side to side. Ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder. If you're nicely on the crown of your head and you're using your forearms, hopefully it's not putting pressure on your neck. But of course, if you have any conditions that make it problematic, or if you're not on the crown of your head, or if you're not using your arms and your shoulders, you might feel it in your neck. And just give your head a shake. You can do a headstand without your arms at all. I have not tried it ever because I don't think that would be very good for my neck. But the yogis do, where they have their arms extended out in front of them, flat, crown of the head. Feel free to try that at home, carefully. Okay, come out, bring those legs out in front of you. Flexing the feet. Inhale, extend up. Exhale, hinge forward. Reaching, reaching, reaching as much as you can. Keep reaching. You should really feel a nice stretch here in the low back. The more you stretch up and forward, up and forward, up and forward, driving into your heels, trying to straighten the hamstrings as much as possible, releasing the hands to calves, to ankles, to big toes, to the balls of the feet, wherever you can reach. Inhale and exhale. And bringing yourself up. All right. Sorry, I've got something in my eye, apart from my eyeball. Bending the knees, sitting up tall, extending the arms, hinging back, chest lifted, belly button in. We're going to come up and down slowly in 2 counts. So we're going to come up on the inhale, back, back on the exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Steady breath, just a little pause halfway through. So it's not a smooth up and down, it's a pause and up and a pause and back. Last time you go back, stay back, holding here. Reach the arms up overhead, pulling them down, the shoulders down your back still. Bring those arms back down in front. We're going to transition this immediately to the hundreds. So your feet can stay right where they are. They can come to tabletop, or they could come to the legs extended position, but we're gonna lower down so the small of our back, our middle back will stay on the mat, but our chest and shoulders, or our shoulders rather, and head are gonna be up off the mat. So when you're ready, pull that belly button in, roll yourself down into your hundreds position, and begin to pump the arms as you inhale and exhale. Switching to mouth breathing if you'd like for the Pilates portion of this. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale and exhale. Modification, of course, is knees bent and tabletop or feet on the floor. See if you can keep going the whole time. Just modify as you need. Chin to chest, eyes to thighs, pumping vigorously. The pumping is meant to destabilize you, and then your core works to stabilize you. Last time. Finishing on the exhale and releasing that down. Hug the knees into the chest, giving yourself a little rock from side to side. Hug the right knee in, press the left shin away. Left leg, not just the shin, holding the shin. Deep inhale, long exhale. Switching sides. Pushing the opposite heel away, hugging the opposite shin in. Hugging both knees in, giving yourself a little massage. Place the feet on the floor. Okay, so we're gonna do the gluteal hip leg series here that we have done before. So, basic concept is we're gonna be lifting and pulsing, and we're gonna be either flat-footed or on the balls of our feet. And at times our feet will be flexed or they'll be pointed. You never have to do the modifications. You can do the whole entire thing down here. So what's important is today we're not gonna drop all the way down and lift all the way up. We're gonna stay pretty lifted, quads contracted, glutes contracted, and it's a little lift and a little lower. Just that final point, okay? So, starting down on your back, shoulders down, pressing into the mat, chin tilted towards chest so you're not arching up, chin towards ceiling. Palms are in the mat so you're getting some traction there, and your feet are fairly close to your body. Hips distance apart, so knees, hips, thighs, shins, all of that is in one line. It's like a series of number 11s. Belly button's pulling in. Next time you inhale, peel the hips and the pelvis and the back off the mat. Really walk all the way up onto your shoulders here. Contract the glutes so the knees don't flop open. Keep the hands out. We don't want them under the back. They're out here, but you're just really opening up the chest and the shoulders here. And then we make our little pulses. So it's just a little squeeze and lift. Tiny movement, making sure you're contracting the glutes at the top. It can be relatively slow, it can be a little faster, it's not super fast. All right, so now, coming up on the balls of your feet, now pulse up, squeeze and lift. If it ever gets too much up on the balls of your feet, but you want to keep going, you can just lower the heels back, down to the mat. Squeezing up, 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 up. Continuing to inhale. And exhale, long, steady breaths. Coming back down onto the heels, keeping the hips lifted. For this next part, your options are this. You can just come up on the ball of one foot. I'm gonna come up on my left foot. So my right foot is flat on the floor, left foot is on the mat, but the heel is lifted and we're pulsing. You can stay here. If you want to take this to another level, you can bring that knee into tabletop position and we're pulsing. If you want to take it to the hardest, you push that foot towards the ceiling, flat foot, pushing up, foot is flexed and pulsing up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now point that toe. Option to rise up on the ball of your opposite foot. So I'm on my right foot and I'm pulsing up. Keep trying to pull that left leg back towards you, getting a stretch in your hamstring. And if any of this is too much, just lower down and pick a different version. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower that foot down. Both heels find the mat. Up on your right ball of your right foot, and we're squeezing and lifting. Now the left heel is down, squeeze and lift. Tiny, tiny movement. Same option, that leg can come to tabletop. Still pulsing, like the knees trying to make it to the ceiling. And then if you want, extend that leg, flex the foot hard, trying to pull that leg back, getting a nice hamstring stretch. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Point the extended leg up on the ball of the foot on the floor. Last little bit. Hopefully you're feeling this. I am. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that foot down. Lower both heels down. Lower your body all the way onto the mat. Let your legs just flop open for a moment. And butterfly. Inhale and exhale. Bringing them back together. Crossing the right ankle across the left thigh for pigeon on our back, supine pigeon. Pushing that right knee away, opening up the hip. And then your option, if you want to grab hold behind the left thigh. I like to push my arm against my inner thigh here. Inhale and exhale. Hopefully it feels pretty good. Place that foot down, cross the right leg all the way over. Lift up, shift onto your left heel. Let the knees drop down to the left. Cactus the arms and look over the right shoulder. Inhaling and exhaling here in your twist. Back to center. Center yourself on the mat, switching sides. Left foot across the right thigh. Pushing that left knee away, opening up the hips. Keeping the pelvis on the floor squarely. You're not rotating, rolling from side to side here. And then when you're ready, grabbing hold behind the right thigh if you'd like. Pulling that in towards your body. And then option to push the left knee or left thigh open with the left elbow. Keeping chin towards chest. A lot of people have a tendency to really be arched up in a very uncomfortable position here. So if that is you, a strap can be helpful to bridge that distance here. Or just keep the foot on the floor. You still get a stretch. And release that down. Cross the left leg all the way over. Lift and shift onto the right hip. Let the knees drop down. Turn and look over the left shoulder. Breathing into the twist on this side. And rolling yourself back to center. Extending the legs. Reach the arms up straight from shoulder. Take an inhale. On your exhale, roll yourself up. Sitting nice and tall here. Inhale. Exhale. All right, we're going to do some spinal roll-ups. The modification for this is to bend your knees. So if you find your legs are flying off the mat, bend your knees. Otherwise, pull that belly button in, roll yourself all the way down to the mat. Inhale. Exhale to roll up. Inhale. Exhale, spine stretch forward. So our spine is rounded. We're reaching forward, forward, forward. Inhale to sit up tall. Exhale to roll all the way back down. We're going to add to this. So we'll do 2 more like this. Inhale. Exhale, roll up. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, pulse, pulse, pulse. Inhale, sit up. Exhale, belly button in, rolling down. Inhale. Exhale, sit up tall. Inhale. Exhale, pulse, pulse, pulse. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, roll all the way back down. This time, stay right where you are. Just open my mat. Okay. Keep the legs extended. Inhale. Exhale, roll up. Inhale, exhale, pulse, pulse, pulse. Inhale, sit up tall. Bend the knees. Extend the right leg. Pull the belly button in and roll yourself down with right leg extended. Keep the right leg extended. Inhale, exhale, roll up. Balance in that up position. Switch legs, left leg up. Pull the belly button in, rolling down. Inhale, exhale to pull up. Sit up tall. Switch legs, right leg up. Inhale, exhale, roll back down. Right leg is up. Inhale, exhale, pull up. Switch in the air, so bring both legs up, right leg down, left leg's in the air, roll back. Inhale, exhale. Switch in the air, right leg comes up, left leg comes down, roll all the way back down. And place both feet on the mat, pull yourself all the way up. Bringing the legs to tabletop. Knees in line with ankles, still hinging back, belly button still pulled in. We're going to roll back just to our shoulder blades and then come up. So it's an inhale, exhale to roll down, just to shoulder blades, inhale, exhale to pull back up. 2 more. Inhale, exhale to pull back up. Last time, you can place your feet on the mat if you're not able to roll back up to modify it. Inhale, exhale to roll back up. Same option here, feet on the mat is modified, legs lifted is more challenging. We're going to come back into a low boat. So we extend into our half Navasana and we pull back up. And we extend low. Inhale out. Exhale in. 2 more. Inhale out. Exhale in. Last one. And pause. Option now, if you're not totally burnt out, I'm going to give you the option of 3 teasers. So arms extend. Legs extend. We're balanced. You can do any of those other ones we just did, or legs stay up as we roll down and back to our shoulder blades, and exhale, pull back up. Inhale, exhale, roll down. Exhale, pull back up. Last one. Inhale, exhale, roll down. Exhale, whoa, pull back up. Lower the legs down, sit up nice and tall, and reach forward, and release. Letting it go, deep breath in, and out, and rolling all the way back up, bending the knees, rolling all the way back down. Extend the arms overhead, extend the legs long, give yourself a big stretch. Draw the right knee into the body. Right shin in. Extend the right leg. So if you can't do this without contorting your body, just bend the left knee. That's fine. Holding on to calf or ankle. The left knee can be all the way bent, all the way straight, or anywhere in between. Don't tug on your knee. If your leg's all the way straight, you're working on that flexibility, really be pushing away with the heel. And you're gently pulling in this right leg without forcing it. Rolling the ankle a few times, one direction and the other direction. Bringing that knee back into the body, giving a squeeze, and just making circles with that hip. One direction and the other direction. Switch, left leg comes in, extend the right leg long, pushing that heel away. Same thing, bend the right knee as much as you can to extend the left leg as much as you can, keeping the shoulders in the mat. Again, if you have a strap or something to bridge the gap, that's fine. You can also be here, right? It's better to be here and working on that flexibility than to be in some like horrible contracted position here. Chin to chest. Roll the ankle one direction. And roll the ankle the other direction. Gently pulling it in, keep pushing that opposite heel away. And hug the left knee into the body, making circles in that hip socket. And switch other direction. And hugging both knees into the chest, giving yourself a little rock from side to side. Bring the hands under the body, extend the legs straight up from hips. Point and flex your feet here. Lower the legs down, we're working our abs again. Contract the belly button, chin to chest, and we're gonna open and close our legs, scissor kicks. Not close, actually cross the legs, open and close. I sort of half point my toes here. I don't like to fully point, sometimes my legs will cramp. If you flex, that's fine, just doesn't look very pretty. I just sort of let them be relaxed. You can go open as far as you want. I'm kicking a wall, but if you want to go further, you can. It's more about the squeeze in. So focusing on squeezing your inner thighs as you bring them across. For 10 more. 10 more count. I don't know if that's breaths or seconds. 9. It's not seconds. 8, it's like a couple of crosses. 7, can you lower the legs down? Pull the belly button in, don't let the back arch. For 6. 5, can you lower down a little more? 4, belly button pulls in, back is still pressing the mat. 3, chin to chest. 2, and 1, and release. Stretching out one more time. Inhale, exhale, roll up. Stretching forward one more time. Holding for a couple of breaths. Coming up to sit, shoulders down and back, sit up nice and tall. Inhale, lift up to grow tall. Pull that belly button in and roll all the way down to the mat. Palms up, eyes closed, and relax. Inhaling. Lion's breath. One more time. And release. Normal breathing. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the nose. If you're lying here and feel like there was something we didn't do that your body needs, you can do that. Otherwise, just allow your body to sink into the mat. To relax. Give your weight to the earth to support you. Every exhale, growing heavier, growing more relaxed. If your mind wanders, just invite it back to the breath. Watching the inhale, watching the exhale. Letting go of any external thoughts. Just breathe them away. And then beginning to allow the breath to deepen. Inhaling and breathing in that energy, that oxygen to recharge each cell that makes up each muscle, each joint, each organ. Drawing oxygen to all of them so that they can regenerate, they can heal, they can recover. Allowing the energy to begin to reawaken you. Wiggling fingers and toes, rolling wrists and ankles, rolling your head from side to side. And then drawing your knees towards your chest, giving yourself a little hug, thanking yourself for your practice today. Allow yourself to roll onto one side, pausing there for a moment, and then pressing yourself up when you're ready, finding a seated position. Legs can be crossed. You can sit on your knees if you want. You can come to lotus or half lotus. Allow your arms and hands to rest in your lap. Sitting up tall, spine long, but still relaxed. Simply sitting and breathing. As we do at the beginning of class, passing an internal gaze over your body. Noticing any differences from an hour ago. Coming back to your intention, reminding yourself of that. Take a deep inhale as you stretch your arms up overhead, stretching long and tall. Next time you exhale, press the palms together, bring the hands down to heart center. Om Shanti Om. Namaste.